My name is Diane Komianke. I'm the Executive Director of the Northwest Innovation Resource Center here in Northwest Washington. In our parlance, innovators comprised of inventors and entrepreneurs. So we consider both of them innovative individuals. And we tend to have about half and half of inventors that come to our door and entrepreneurs that want to actually start a business. So each entrepreneur is very unique. So coming up with just a list of services for them to check off is not very usable. We actually wind up listening to the entrepreneur, figuring out what they need based on where they are, their skills, where they want to go, and then come up with a customized program just for them. You have business leaders, you have access to capital, you have financial institutions. They're all in a very concentrated area, and it's easier to network because people tend to know each other. When you work in or innovate in a more dispersed area, you don't have the concentration of individuals that have been born and raised, if you will, on innovation and helping other innovators. Access to capital is not as ready. There are not angel groups and venture groups. There's not a large experience level of investing in startups. On the other hand, it's an area that's very loyal to its neighbors and very interested in helping the local individuals start out. So it's a matter of finding the right way to get the types of resources that entrepreneurs need available to the individuals in a very dispersed manner. Rather than having the individuals come to a central area, you have to find a way to take those resources to them. So we came up with this model of finding a large pool of individuals who'd be willing to give little bits of their time as long as it was the right subject and it would help the individual at the time. So we came up with the Just-in-Time Mentoring Program, which is the right information at the right time for the entrepreneur or the inventor, and that's worked out incredibly well. The business community, business leaders have been generous with their time beyond expectation. And every year we increase by 25 or 30% the number of hours that volunteers spend with our entrepreneurs. And it's been most rewarding. And to me, it endorses the model and the value that the business community places on entrepreneurs by them being willing to take their time to help. If you look at our region being 5 counties, each county has a little bit of a different focus depending upon the business climate there, but the general theme of the 5 counties is it's a large focus on making things, so manufacturing and growing things, agriculture. There are others, there's some high-tech pools, etc., but mostly makers and growers. And so the types of help that are needed, the types of capital that's needed, the types of workforce that are needed are all concentrated in those particular types of industries. One of the measures that we use to assume that we're on the right path are the increase. Every year we have an increase in number of entrepreneurs and inventors that come our way. We have more education, higher eds, that are focused on partnering with us, students that want to do intern projects with us and our entrepreneurs. We also have government groups, both local, city, county, that are very interested in supporting what we're doing because they see the benefit of it to their community. What we're working on now is to have the various communities understand how to work together a bit more effectively so that the combined focus on entrepreneurial activity will be beneficial for the entire region. The biggest challenge when we got started, and is somewhat still there, but diminishing at an increasing pace, I would say, so just the lack of insight, real, not just textbook knowledge, but feeling it in your bones what it's like to be an entrepreneur and what it takes for an entrepreneur to succeed. If you're in Silicon Valley, it's around everywhere. Kids in grade school understand what it takes. But if you're more in an area that hasn't had a lot of focus on nurturing entrepreneurs, it's a little bit not as well known. So it was hard to get individuals to understand, and by individuals I mean some government groups, some organizations, that entrepreneurs really do require a lot of assistance. It's not, you can't just spend an hour, you don't just start out doing a business plan. They don't have an idea of what their product is sometimes, so you can't write a business plan as the first step. So getting past that traditional business assistance into something that's more personalized assistance for an entrepreneur was and is still to some degree not widely understood. Over the last 2 to 3 years, there's been an increasing awareness and priority placed on supporting innovators in both government, county government, city governments, but also higher ed. We now are working with all of the higher ed organizations in the 5-county area, all of whom have put together programs for supporting innovation or entrepreneurial activity. Many of them are working with creating maker spaces so that they have resources for their students to take advantage of. The governments are very much seeing that they need to support innovation as the business of tomorrow for their area. It's no longer sufficient to depend upon helping large companies grow. They need the new technologies, the new thought processes of the innovators to maintain the economic growth opportunities for the future. When we first started the Innovation Resource Center, we realized that we were very strategically placed between, or sandwiched between, two very innovative areas, Vancouver, BC and Seattle, Washington. But in our area, there was no organization helping entrepreneurs or inventors. We decided that it would be better to really look at the region as a whole than any individual, to get the concentration of focus and resources that entrepreneurs would need. So by being able to call upon business leaders, mentors, educational institutions throughout the 5-county area to help any one entrepreneur within there, it grows a bigger focus and bigger impact so that every individual region within that 5-county area can benefit from it, as opposed to saying you would work only with the limited resources in one city or in one county. There's just not enough of mass or variety to help all the different types of innovators that might show up in that little geographic area. Over the last couple of years, the types of entrepreneurs and potential startups and inventors we've seen are ones that are have much more elaborate opportunities, I'll call it, ones of greater depth, individuals that range from people starting something in their garage to having very sophisticated innovations of technology. And I think that's a sign that people are willing to step up and take advantage and pursue their idea, whereas before they may not have felt that the support was there to help them and they would have just left their product on the shelf.